We still have some interesting, intriguing players left in NBA free agency. In Major League Baseball, it's all about the trade deadline and who can help you for the rest of the season. Well, who can help some NBA teams next season in free agency? We still have a top 10 free agent on the board, according to our free agent tracker, and that's who we're going to start with. Tim Doyle and John Gonzalez join us here on HQ Spotlight. Jonathan Kuminga was originally ranked in the top 10. Now, he's restricted, but didn't have much of a role following that Jimmy Butler trade. John, is he going to go somewhere else?
Yeah, so this is something that we've been asking about Jonathan Kuminga, Chris, for a long time, is about what his future holds, because you'll remember that the Warriors, he's only 22 years old. You'll remember that the Warriors had for a time this two-track idea where they were trying to win simultaneously with the veterans while also developing young guys like Jonathan Kuminga. That did not work out. Then last year they come into the season and they think, okay, well, we're going to have an expanded role for Jonathan Kuminga out of necessity. That didn't really work out either, and they end up trading for Jimmy Butler, as you mentioned. And once they got Jimmy Butler, Steve Kerr said, I'm not loving the spacing here with Draymond, Jimmy Butler, and Kuminga on the floor. So Jonathan Kuminga ended up catching a lot of DNP-CDs. This is really a scenario where pretty much everybody around the league is just waiting for them maybe to re-sign Jonathan Kuminga and then trade him at some point during the season, because probably a change of venue, a change of scenery would benefit not only Jonathan Kuminga, but also the Warriors, because as you mentioned, he fell out of favor with Steve Kerr towards the end of the regular season, into the playoffs, didn't really get into the rotation until Steph Curry went down, and then they looked around and went, well, we need warm bodies. Jonathan Kuminga, go ahead and get out there. So I don't think that he's going to get the kind of money that he's looking for. If he's looking for a Jalen Suggs deal, 5 for $150 million, you can forget about that. Probably more likely that he signs on a shorter term deal and then they ship him out somewhere else.
We each asked you for a couple of guys, and Tim's guy is Cam Thomas here, also restricted. Tim, I don't know if you saw this, but he's reportedly deleted all his Nets-related pics and posts off social media.
Yeah, and he's not a big fan of Zach Lowe, who called him a ball hog. Go check out those kind words that he had for Zach Lowe as well, an NBA writer. Maybe I'm biased because I got a chance to call one of his games 3 seasons ago. So not even 2 seasons ago. A season where he averaged 10 points a game. Chris, he had 40 points or more in 3 consecutive games. Last year, you see career highs in points per game, 24 points a game. Like, that doesn't happen by accident. Does he take a lot of shots? Of course he does. Is his field goal percentage a little low? Of course it is. Is he on an absolute terrible team? Yes. I think this is one of those guys, Chris, that I would gamble on, that if he's in a different situation, now all of a sudden he starts becoming really valuable. So I know that Detroit is looking to sign some scoring, and I think if you put him there with a culture that has clearly changed and a point guard like Cade Cunningham, I think that would be an amazing fit. But to your point, at the end of the day, I just cannot see him being still a Brooklyn Net.
A lot of these guys coming off rookie contracts. You have Thomas, who's been with the Nets his entire career. You have Kuminga, he's been with the Warriors his entire career. John, Quinton Grimes has already played for 4 teams in his 4-year career.
Yeah, Quinton Grimes really, I think the Sixers hit on something, and Quinton hit on something when he landed with the Sixers. Now, they were tanking towards the end of the season, so there were plenty of shots to go around. But it was really a breakout year for him at 25 years old. He averaged 22 points with the Sixers, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. His shooting percentages were good. And the Sixers decided not to bring back Gershon Yabusele, or at least not try to offer him what the Knicks offered, because Daryl Morey said, hey, we got to pay Quinton Grimes. Okay, all that's good, right? Yabusele goes off to the Knicks, but guess what? Quinton Grimes still not signed with the Sixers, which as this thing starts to drag on a little bit here, Chris and Tim, I'm starting to wonder about, is this just yet another case of you can't have nice things in Philadelphia because the Sixers are just a misrun organization? Quinton Grimes, I think, might be looking for a big payday here, and maybe
seems like he's an ideal. Sorry, John, not to cut you off. I had just a thought. He seems like an ideal fit, doesn't he? Playing alongside of Embiid, doesn't Grimes fit in perfectly here?
Yeah, you'd think. I mean, look, the Sixers have designs on doing something in a weak Eastern Conference, right? With the Cavs and with the Knicks being the top of the conference, but nobody else really being that dangerous. You'd think that he would slot in perfectly along with Maxey and PG and Embiid and, a power forward to be named later. But yeah, the longer this thing goes on, guys, the more I wonder about whether or not he's thinking about gambling, betting on himself, signing the qualifying offer, and then going into free agency full next season where there'll be like 5 to 7 teams with major money next next offseason.
Did you do that on purpose because we have Malik Beasley coming up next? Is that because that's our next intriguing one? You mentioned gambling and betting on himself, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, Malik Beasley was looking at, I talked to someone in the front office of an NBA team today. I said, how much was Beasley looking at this year? $14 million. I repeat, $14 million. You ever see Danny DeVito in Twins? $5 million, like $14 million. I wrote that back with 3 question marks and 4 exclamation points. And I believe if I had to bet, I bet he never plays another game. And it's awfully sad because last year he was making next to nothing. And the guy had a fantastic season. He made almost 4 threes a game. And check out the other names that he was associated with just last season. The guy was fantastic. Like, he earned it, Chris and John. He got it. He got his payday. And now, oh boy, if you've seen the videos online and the stories and the rumblings that are being heard, I think this is a problem, Chris. Not only in the NBA, across all major sports leagues right now. Obviously, it seems like a story is popping up more and more. And if it's not an interpreter that you can blame it on, you know, you just wonder what's going to happen with the future of sports. So I think we can laugh about it, but this is a really serious thing. And I believe he never plays another game in the NBA. I feel for the guy because I like to gamble as much as anybody, but my job allows me to gamble. His job does not allow him to bet on games that he's playing in as well as the sport that he's playing on. So I think he never plays again in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance, right? And by the way, I like how you just snuck in the shots at Ohtani's interpreter there. Very skilled by Tim there. Beasley, look, he's really good. But now all of a sudden the Pistons have moved on, right? Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson, they're in. Beasley's not going to have a home here, whether or not these allegations are true or not, because if you look around, there's not a lot of money left. We're talking about these restricted free agents that are most likely going back to their teams, probably on limited deals. Well, Malik Beasley's an unrestricted free agent, and the music stopped, and there's not a lot of chairs left here. So this is bad news for him all the way around, and it's a shame to see because of exactly what Tim said. He had a great year last year. The Pistons were on the rise. He was a perfect fit. He was just about to sign that contract too, and then the bottom fell out.
And he just posted over the weekend, best believe I'm coming back even better, but we wonder if he even has a chance to do that. John, Tim, thank you so much as we wrap up the month of July and look ahead to the start of the season. The Thunder, pretty heavy favorites right now to go back-to-back at plus 230. Eastern Conference seems wide open with the Cavs and Knicks pretty much co-favorites.